Wife Material Podcast, episode 15. Financial security is okay, but financial insecurity isn't. Plus, modern wife roles. So, let me explain the financial security, financial insecurity thing. Well, it's the idea that, it's good that you have a degree, you have the ability to have a job, you have the ability to make your own money. That's great. Financial security. You should have a way to make money, right? But thing is, that's good to have in general, right? Whether you're a man or a woman, but in this case, we're talking about women. So it's good for you to have the ability to make money, but you still should be trying to get in a relationship, right? A lot of times, women talk about the whole, not needing a man. That expression was referring to not needing a man's money, not needing a man to provide for you, because you already can provide for yourself. Since you can already provide for yourself, you don't need him to provide for you. Therefore, whatever else he can give you is all you really need, right? It's all you're asking. I'm assuming, logically anyway, that's the way I think, right? Logically, is that you are thinking about that. You're thinking like, yeah, make my own money so that way a man doesn't have to make a lot of money to take care of me and him. He just needs to make enough for himself at least, right? Enough money for him for whatever he needs, his money for, and I have all the money I need for what I need, and that's it. And if I want more, if I want to travel the world every weekend, then okay, I just have to make more money and then do that. Instead of expecting my man to do that for me, to make the money for me to travel the world, right? You would think that that's a modern woman's mindset, right? That's what the whole having a job is for in the first place. The reason she has the job is so that way she can unburden the man financially. Make it where it's like, yeah, all my needs, all my wants, all the things that I want, like if I want fancy clothes and this, that, and third, I want a new dress every week or something. Instead of burdening you, my man, with keeping up with that, paying for that all the time, I do it. I'll take care of my random needs that I feel I need a new dress or new whatever, new hairstyle every week. All right, then you pay for it, right? Fair is fair. You have the money. That's the thing. You have the money. The way it used to be is the man makes money. He makes double income, right? Double the income because he has to make enough for himself. He has to make enough for you, right? And that's without kids. Once you add kids, obviously he has to make more because of the kids. But just you and him together, he has to make enough that he can take care of you and himself. That he can pay for you and himself. So when y'all go to a movie theaters, he not only pays for his ticket, he also pays for yours. And when he buys popcorn, he buys you popcorn. You get the point? That was the purpose of that. That's the reason why, women always wanted guys who, make a lot of money, because that means they always have extra money to share, to give you, right? But thing is, you don't get that money for free though. There's always a price to pay. There's always been a price, and women had no problem paying that price. It was called love and sex, right? It's called respect, loyalty, right? Those small basic things, fit, friendly, and feminine, all that good stuff, right? That's what women did. They did these small, bare minimum things, being in shape, which is beneficial to you, period. It's not just, oh, you have to be in shape for your man. You just being in shape is just good for you, and you're healthy. You live longer and get to enjoy life and not be tired and lazy. That's the thing. Women are getting bigger, which means they're getting lazier, weaker. That extra weight, y'all not lifting weights. You're not going to the gym lifting, 100, 200 pound weights to handle all this plus sizeness you have. No, this stuff is slowing you down. It makes you walk slower. Makes you get tired faster. You spend more time sitting down than you do walking, living your best life. So being a plus size woman, you're not living your best life. If you were, in better, healthier shape, not necessarily have to be skinny or size 6, but in a healthier shape, healthier weight, you can live your best life. You're not living your best life if you're heavy as hell, but that's for another conversation. The point is, being financially secure was always supposed to be a backup plan, not the plan. The purpose in your life is not to make bank. The purpose of your life is not to get your bag, be the boss, or all this extra stuff. Like, no. The idea of getting money was financial security, so that way you can retire early, aka be a wife. Because we have stuff like Uber Eats and catering services, and we got house cleaning services. You can actually order a maid or butler to come through, or just a cleaning service. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could just be just a cleaning company that comes and cleans the house. That way you don't have to. It's easy to be a housewife now than it used to be back in the day. Because back in the day, you had to clean, you had to cook, you had to do the laundry, you had to go grocery shopping. Like, you had to physically do these things. Now you don't have to physically do these things. You can order food on your phone and have it order. You can buy the groceries on your phone and have it delivered. You can pay to have somebody come pick up laundry. Just give them the laundry, they'll take it and they'll clean it and wash it and bring it back. What else? Cleaning. You can have people who just literally come in the house and clean. Like, just clean the house. Like, you literally, if you need to go somewhere, you need to go somewhere, you can just use Uber. And instead of taking a bus or something, you could just go take Uber. And your man's paying for all this. Obviously, if you're not a woman, you can pay for all this. But the thing I'm saying is, like, if you're in a relationship with a man, you're a wife, you have a husband, more likely he's paying for everything. Again, it's easy to be a wife now than it ever has been easy to be a wife before. Like, it was harder to be a wife back in the day, but of course there was a lot of respect that came with it because there was work involved. Being a wife, being a mother, work. But now it's easier. You got daycares and shit, nannies. You got lots of things that make raising your kids easier. Shit, you got YouTube. You got a smartphone. Give them a smartphone, and the smartphone will raise your child for you. Obviously, I'm saying that as a joke because you should never use your smartphone to raise your children until we create some appropriate apps for raising children. But right now we don't have that. YouTube is definitely not something. It's not for raising. Children should not be raised on YouTube. Once they're 18 and older, they use YouTube as an educational thing and other entertainment one, but not. YouTube shouldn't raise your kids. Especially TikTok. TikTok definitely should not raise your kids. Twitter, that's bad. Obviously. The point is that getting money is not a bad thing. Guys have no problem with women making money. Problem, however, is that the reason most women, modern women, are making money is because they're trying to avoid being in a long-term relationship with a man, aka marriage, or just even being with a man for like 5+ years, right? The women are the ones leaving relationships. Women are the ones leaving relationships, not men. The divorce rate is higher, the ones who file divorces are largely women. Women are leaving relationships. They're doing this thing there's an expression I'm going to use for this is you can't fire me, I quit. The whole idea of like, you can't fire me, like, you can't leave me, leave me, marry me, and then after you get tired, leave me, and then I'm supposed to have nothing, right? Because you still, the man, right? You still making money, you still this and that. You still have the ability to continue your life because you have the financial security. Husband, right? You have the financial security. But me as a wife, I don't have my own financial security. I was relying on you, taking care of me, right? But now you don't want to take care of me no more. Now I'm in a bad situation, right? And the thing is that most women never experienced that. Most women never had that ever happen because they hear that it has happened before. Other people experienced it. That was other people's lives that shit happened. But then because it could happen, they don't want to get into a situation where the man could leave them. But here's the thing, though. Women are the one leaving relationships. Men are asking women to marry them, and the women are leaving. It shows that men are not the one leaving the relationship. They're not the ones that, are marrying women and then just kicking them to the curb. Like, all right, thanks for 10, 20 years of being my wife. Back to the streets with you. I'm going to go get me another woman. No. Y'all afraid of something that doesn't happen that often. Often, it doesn't happen 90% of the time. It probably happens 9% or 10% of the time in the whole world. And that's the whole world. There's a lot of people in this world, a lot of, men and women in this world. So to assume that those few percentage is the majority is not, it's the minority. All these, horror stories, as we call it, women have these horror stories of, like, oh my God, she was in an abusive relationship and this and that and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, that has happened. And the circumstances, matter. Context matters. We don't know the full story in a lot of those situations. We only know the end of the story, or just half of the story, not the full story. But just because it has happened doesn't mean it's always going to happen. I could get hit by a bus. I've heard people get hit by buses. But I'm not going to avoid going outside and crossing the street when I see a bus. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, a bus. I'm not going to cross the street until the bus disappears because, I'm afraid of getting hit by a bus. Like, no. Right? It can happen, yes. But does it happen all the time? No, it doesn't. That's the point. It doesn't happen all the time. The whole domestic, situation. No, it doesn't happen all the time. But what does happen a lot? Women breaking up with a man, even if he didn't do nothing wrong, or breaking up with him because he, quote unquote, did do something. Right? But that's for a different topic, where he did do something wrong and you left him. But the thing is that women are leaving the relationships. And part of it is because, well, they got money, they got a job, they got the ability to go be by themselves. Since they could afford to be single, right? They keep choosing it. They keep choosing to be single. They try dating, it don't work, they just go back to being single. They try marriage, it doesn't work out. They become single again. They get a divorce. They keep going back to the single life as a backup plan, but it's supposed to be a backup plan, right? But in a worst case scenario, but it's never a worst case scenario. They just keep using it as a safety blanket. Oh, I don't say my independence. They even use the excuse that they don't want to get into a relationship because they're going to lose their independence. And it's like, no, you still have your independence. If you get into a relationship and then the relationship ends after a week, you still can go back to your old life, right? You can go back to being independent, aka single. You can always go back. You don't get rid of your independence permanently. You can always go back, which is why a lot of women do go back. They break up, they divorce, they do go back because you never lost it. The point is, you never lose it. So why are you afraid of losing your independence, getting in a relationship? That's stupid. Plus, here's the hypocrisy of that situation. This is where the whole financial security is okay, but financial insecurity isn't. Is the idea that you'll use money as the reason why you won't want to be in a relationship because it could be financially a problem for you. But the thing is that you made sure you have the ability to make your own money, that money is never an issue. As in, you don't need a man's money, which means you don't need a man to make a lot of money. So you shouldn't be chasing a man who does have a lot of money. You can just be with a man who makes the same money as you, as an example, if you're an average woman making an average income, then an average man making an average income, or less than that. If a man is making less than average income, you're okay with it. You know why? Because you don't need him, right, for financial security. You do need him for his penis and the fact that he's of the opposite sex and whatnot. You need him for his size and strength and all the other things that comes with being a man, right? But you don't need him. You don't need him for his money. So you have a better situation to be in than most women in the past. Most women in the past had to choose a guy who makes double income to support her and him. But now you don't require or shouldn't require the guy to make double income, make more money than you because you have your own money. So now, since you have your own money, you can take care of whatever you want to take care of, and then he takes care of what he needs to take care of with his money, and then that's good. Then money is no longer an issue. Money is no longer a problem. Now it's just about the gender roles, which is a thing. Now it's just about he's the man, you're the woman. He plays his part, you play your part. He makes you happy, you make him happy. It's just that simple. But ironically, modern women want to make it complicated. So then you get in the scenario where the way it should be, and this is the way I expected it to be for the modern wife role, is that you don't do the whole job thing, the career thing. You could obviously, you're going to do a job, and before you even meet your husband, obviously you're living the single life until you meet your husband. So obviously you're going to have at least a job. But once you meet your husband, married and all that stuff, then you start doing the kids stuff, right? Having kids and stuff like that, and being a wife and mother and all that stuff. And then when the kids are old enough that you don't have to, take care of them, 24/7 type of situation where you have more free time because they're in school and this, that, and the third, then you can go do the whole career thing, right? You can go back to the workforce, do the whole career thing, make that money. Nothing wrong with it. But you got to do it in that order. The problem is you got women trying to do the whole career job thing, specifically career thing before marriage. Well, before kids in certain instances, right? Well, before marriage, because obviously marriage has to come before kids, before marriage. But they don't have a problem having kids before marriage and still the career thing. It's like, and every action that we've seen so far with modern women is that the things they do, one, obviously, are selfish decisions they make, and two, it's just selfish, right? It's the selfish decision because it always puts them in a position where, I have kids now, or I gotta make money, especially if I'm not with the man no more. Like, I got pregnant by a guy, him and me don't get along because he's toxic, quote unquote, right? So now I'm a single woman. Single mother. It's like, okay, you're a single mother. You could really try not to be, but okay, you're a single mother. All right. The decisions you're making are leading to this path. You're a modern single mother. You have a job. Now you're going to turn that job into a career because you want security, right? Financial security, right? But this all boils down to, your insecurities because you weren't able to hold on to the man who got you pregnant. You didn't wait until marriage. It's more likely you got the kid before that. And that's the other thing. Is a lot of the things women have done is backwards. It's like, yes, get your education. Yes, go get a minimum wage job to start off with, or if you can do better than that, go ahead, do better than a wage job, make money and find your man and find your future husband. Then get married and stuff. Then have kids. Then wait until the kids are old enough for you to go back into the workforce instead of trying to work while you have children. While they're still children. Now when they're teenagers in school and stuff like that, while they're still children, it's like, no, you still gotta take care of them until they're old enough to take care of themselves, until they're old enough to go take a bus or subway, Uber to work, to school or something. or they do homeschooling, whatever. The point is wait until they're old enough that you can go back to the workforce, right? You can go try to get a career. Also consider working from home. That's another thing I support. The idea of working from home is like, I'm not against a woman making money. It's just that you got to make the money for a logical reason. If you're going to be selfish with the money and it's like, well, I make this money so I can take care of all my needs. So I don't need no man to take care of my needs. Fine. Thank you. Thank you for making my life easier. Because now any money I make will be for me and the kids. So I don't have to make that much. I just have to make enough for me and the kids. Because you got your own bag. Great. You got your own bag. More power to you. But it's the fact that women, even though they got their own bag, even though they have their own money, right? Oops, wrong. Right? Got their own bag, got their own money. They still want your money. Not only do they still want your money, they still want to make you. They still want you to make more. They actually want you to make 2 bags for them, right? So they want you to make 3 bags, right? 3 bags worth of money, hypothetically, right? 3 bags worth of money. 1 bag for you, because she wants you to have money so you can, get what you need to get. But then 2 bags for her, and then she still has her own bag, which means she's going to end up with 3 bags, and you end up with. Then if y'all have kids, of course, she wants you to make extra bags for the kids. So make sure you make 1 bag for each kid. And she popped out 2 kids, so now you got to make, I said originally 3, so now you got to make 5 bags. You got to make 5 bags. 1 for you, 2 for her, and 1 for each kid. And then she's still making her own bag. So then she has 3 bags, and you and the children only have 1 bag each. You see how that doesn't sound right? That's why this picture right here is really adorable and perfect for it, because look at the extreme happiness on her face. She's not happy because she's working. She's happy because all this fucking money is literally flying around. That's all she sees is money. She values money more than she values anything else. Symbolically anyway. But this is the truth, the nature I've been seeing. I've been watching a lot of podcasts. I've been seeing women talking, and when they get asked certain questions, they keep bringing up this whole thing of like, not needing a man, because they have their own, not needing a man because they make their own money. But that's always weird, because it's like, you mean you don't need a man's money because you have your own money. But they don't say it like that. They just say they don't need a man because they make their own money. Which, if you listen to it, that's wordplay right there. That's them not saying that, oh, I don't need his money. I just don't need him. That's what they want to imply. I don't need his, because I do need his money. I just, quote unquote, don't need him. So that's the thing. Money is more important. That's why women got their own money. Plus, they get with a man because they want his money. You see the pattern there? That's the point. That's fucked up. Because what was the point of you getting your own money unless, well, we know the point. The point is greed, selfishness. You want money, period. So you get your own bag plus you want his bag. And that's the thing. And that's unfortunate, because it's like, well, that's really fucked up to have that type of mindset of like you just care about money, period. It's like, for all that, yeah, go get your money, be single, live your life with your money, because apparently money is what matters to you the most. Not only does money matter to you the most, you matter to yourself the most. You care about yourself more than about anyone else. You care about your feelings more than anybody else's feelings. You care about your own happiness, like you being happy. You don't care if the rest of the world is miserable. As long as you're happy, that's all the fuck you care about. And the list goes on. And we're seeing that constant pattern of selfishness, which is what leads to hypocrisy, being a hypocrite. Because you'll do a lot of things that make you happy, but then want to be unhappy and look down on somebody else when they do something that makes them happy. For example, you'll be a woman that has sex with 20 different guys before you end up with your current boyfriend. But your current boyfriend only has sex with 3 women, and you're about to be the 4th, right? Y'all get together. He gets an opportunity to have sex with a fifth woman in his life. You know, think about it. He had his life was as long as yours was, right? But he only had three sex partners before you came along. You had 26 partners before he came along. Now he has an opportunity to add an extra number, an extra body, right, to his body count, which is only going to take him up to 5. But you want to make him out to be the bad guy, to make him out to be the what is it called? You want to make him out to be like a sinner, or act like he is, you know, not trustworthy. You're more trustworthy than him. You're more pure than him. Like you see what I'm saying? Trying to act like you're on a high horse when you started the relationship with a 20 man body count. His body count was way less. All he did was add one more to it, and then you want to make a big deal by considering the fact that you know, have 4 times the body count. But then, of course, hypocrisy kicks in, and it's like, well, my past shouldn't matter. I didn't cheat on you now. That's what should matter. Yeah, you don't count those other guys before you meet me as cheating. Yeah. Good luck with that delusional, because that essentially it is. You know, that right there shows that you have very little self-control. You had a lot of opportunities. We lived almost an equal lifespan, right? We were on this planet almost the same amount of time, but you ended up in situations with other people more often than me, yet want to make a big deal if I want just one more. And the funny thing is if I want that one more, this is hypothetical for this example, by the way. If I want that one more before I propose to you, right, before I marry you. Because this was like a scenario in a podcast I saw where a guy wanted to be with, who was going to propose to his fiance, propose to his girlfriend, and make her his wife. But he ended up, having sex with one of her friends. But of course, that was something else. But the thing is that it wasn't around the same time. It was obviously there was some, it was at least a year or 2 or something like that difference from those 2 incidents. Point is that she found out that it has happened. That it did happen that he did have sex with another woman. Doesn't matter if she was friend of her or not. It's just that it was another woman. He had sex with another woman, so he added an extra body to his body count, right? But the type of woman she was, that's the thing. That's why I'm being real specific. The type of woman she was, clearly her body count wasn't very low. Therefore, the fact that he is willing to marry her, which means he's more likely going to dedicate his penis to her for the rest of his life. But to her, this one thing was such a big deal. When, if you look at it logically, it's like, well, this is the last hurrah. That was the last, not your pussy, that he was ever going to get for the rest of his life. He's going to dedicate the rest of his life to you. He just wanted just one last, chance. Because you also have to understand, he doesn't choose when to have sex. This was an opportunity. This is why he took advantage of the situation. I'm not trying to say that he was in the right or anything like that. I'm trying to say he definitely should have done it. What I'm saying is that you have to understand that this was a rare opportunity for him because he didn't have other options, right? It's not like he gets sex from different women every week before he dated you, and then while he was dating you, he suddenly was like, oh, you know what? It's been a while since I had sex with a whole bunch of other women. Let me have sex with another woman because it's been a while. No, he didn't. It's not a choice. Women are the ones who choose to have sex, which means she's the one who offered it to him. Because without her offering it to him, he's not going to get it. Because most guys, are willing to say, "Hey, I want to have sex with you," and the woman's like, "No." Like, all right, well, that sucks, right? So most guys just don't even waste time even asking that much anymore. They just wait for the woman to mention sex. And so if he had sex with another woman, it's because she offered it. She, a woman, offered it. Not him. She offered it. That's the only way he can have sex with her is if she offered it. Remember, consent. Don't forget that. Let's not be hypocrites and forget the idea that women have to give consent, right? So he can't have sex with another woman unless she consents, which means she gave him the permission, which more likely means she gave him the offer. She made herself available to him. When normally, he would not have access to stuff like that, right? Now, if he always has access to women and booty all the time, then that's a different story. But you knew he was that type of guy anyway in the first place. But if you were with him, more likely because he's not that type of guy who would be with a whole bunch of women, which is why you chose to be with him. But now he gets this one opportunity because one random woman out of nowhere likes him, wants to have sex with him, and it's a one-time thing. It's not like it's gonna go for. It's not like he's gonna replace you with her. It's just a one-time thing, but you want to make a big deal about it, considering the fact that you've had a lot of experience, but you want to be on a high horse. But that's for a different conversation. Point I'm trying to get to is that women have been doing things to try to safeguard themselves, and I'm not against having these safeguards, right? These backup plans. You know, like even though you're dating a guy, you're still looking around. You're still not. You'll let a guy know, like a guy who hits on you, know that you have a boyfriend, but you're not gonna be like, oh, you're not my type, blah blah blah. No, you're gonna be like, I'm sorry, I'm flattered, but I got a boyfriend. Sorry. And then you probably like give him your Instagram or something, and then leave it at that. That way, if it doesn't work out with your boyfriend, you can always hit that guy up who followed you on Instagram and be like, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. Feeling to another. You mentioned that you broke up with your boyfriend, or yeah, because more likely you broke up with him, your boyfriend, not the other way around. And then go from there. So it's understandable to have a backup plan. I'm all about backup plans, but at the same time, the thing about backup plans is that if you have a backup plan, you're more likely going to use it. Which means you're gonna do things knowing that you have the backup plans, and that's the problem, right? When you have a safety net, you're going to be careless. When even if you fall, you won't get hurt. You'll be on tall buildings acting a fool, taking the risk of falling because you're not going to get hurt when you hit the floor, so you don't care. That's the problem, because eventually you're going to fall, right? So, having these safety nets, these backup plans, like, oh, I have a job, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's okay to have the ability to work and have a job and make money, but you shouldn't use it as like every time you and your boyfriend disagree on something, you want to use your job as an excuse to try to leave the relationship or use it against him, use it like a weapon. That's the thing. A lot of times women use the fact that they have a job as a weapon. The whole, oh, I don't need you. I don't need you. Yes, you do. Yes, you do still need me. You need me for the stuff that matters. Money doesn't matter. But you think it does. That's the thing, because of the stuff you can get. Money lets you get things. That's what you care about. Things that make you happy because you care about being happy. That's the thing. It's sad. I'm still waiting for the day when women can be happy without materialistic things. Can be happy just by being happy, right? Being happy that they're alive. Being happy that they have friends. They have a boyfriend, kids, this and that. The stuff that should make them happy, or at least you should be grateful. And grateful should lead to happiness. Oh man, I got friends, family, I have a life, I have a house, car, blah, blah. Like, life is great. Now, granted, most of the stuff will require some money, but the thing is, the money didn't matter. It's just everything around you matter. The fact that, oh, I don't need no man, it's like, but that's weird because men don't work to make money for themselves. They definitely don't make money to be like, I don't need no woman. No, we make money so we can give it to the woman because we want the woman. Women is what matters to men, not money. But it's unfortunate that money matters to women, not men, right? Women care about money more than they care about men. They care about their happiness, their feelings more than they care about reality or facts or the truth. That's why when you say stuff like, you know, supposed to be a wife. Nah. You're supposed to have kids. Nah, that's bullshit. I'm supposed to have a career and vision and be creative and I had to find my purpose in life. It's like, but your purpose in life since you were born is to eat, sleep, reproduce. And then what you reproduce is supposed to make you happy because it gives you purpose. Raising your children to be awesome human beings for the future, to make the planet a better place, that's your purpose. That's your greatest purpose. That's a purpose way beyond you being an Instagram model or an Onlyfans content creator, or making six figures at your office job or something. Like, all those extra shit don't matter. Being a mother matters because you're literally shaping the future. You literally have influence on what happens in the future of mankind based off of you reproducing with the right quality man who has good genetics plus personality, so he can help you raise the kids to have great personality plus your good genetics, his good genetics, mixing, making good, high quality humans. If you notice, and yeah, I'm going this to the dark side. If you notice, a lot of children are born with mental issues, born with defects. There's more shitty children being born than awesome children. And that's unfortunate. And then this whole body positivity bullshit, making it okay to be obese and unhealthy and shit like that, like, that's bullshit. That's a problem because we're not supposed to be obese, right? That's why we call it obese and not call it your normal weight, healthy. That's what God made you obese on purpose. You're born to be obese. That's who you are. No, we became overweight. We were not meant to be overweight. That's a problem of the modern world, where everything we eat that is not food, it's a product. All this stuff we're eating, all these cakes and cookies and shit, they're not food, they're products created by a company that only cares about what? Money. But that's for another conversation. Back to, the reason women were getting money, and one of the reasons I support it, because it's like, yeah, if you end up in a relation, in a marriage, and it ends because of him, I gotta be very specific, because like I said, women are the ones breaking up with their boyfriends. Women are divorcing their husband. It's not the other way around. So women are the ones leaving the relationships, not men. Nowadays, in the past, yeah, that it more likely was the man versus it was more the men that were doing it. But think about how things have changed, how the roles have switched, right? That the women are the one leaving, not the men, but the women are the ones having this idea that, oh, I need a safety net. I need to be financially secure, so that way, if my husband leaves me, I'm not poor. But the thing is, the way divorce is set up, as well as the fact that you have a degree, you have the ability to work in the workforce, thanks to men allowing that, right? The fact that you can make money, divorces benefit the wives. Wives get a shitload of money when they divorce their husband. Shit, even if the husband was the one who filed the divorce, the wife still gets a lot of money. Think about that. So financially, women do not get financially ruined from men breaking up, divorcing them. So of course, a guy's not going to divorce you because financially, that's a bad thing for him. Good for you, bad for him. So of course, he's not going to divorce you. But like I said, since it's good for you, of course you'll divorce him. That's the fucked up part. See how that the whole fear of him leaving me and me spending 10, 20 years with him, and then he divorces me, and now I have nothing. I have no money, no life, no blah blah blah. It's like, really? That's bullshit. Because you're gonna get all this money, especially if he's a high value man. You're getting all this money, so that's bullshit. You live your best life because you literally was with a high value man. And then now, if you divorce him or he divorces you, now you get this big fat paycheck for your retirement because you ain't going to be doing shit for the rest of your life after you get that big fat paycheck. So fuck out of here with this whole, oh, I need security, blah, blah, blah. I work, I'm just protecting myself from not being in a bad situation. You never was in a bad situation. Divorce was always financially beneficial for women. Fucked up as it is, that's just the way it is. So there was never any financial problem. Plus, again, y'all have the ability to make money, so y'all never in a situation where y'all never have money. So women have no reason not to get married because y'all have all these safety nets. You have the ability to work. You'll easily get hired just because you're a woman. You'll easily get hired at any business, with or without a degree. Just because you're a woman, you'll get hired. So you have that safety net. One, you can always find another man to take care of you. That's another safety net. And then there's the divorce settlement. That's a safety net. You have 3 fucking safety nets, yet you still want to be like, I can't marry, I can't trust a man because he might leave me. But men are not the one leaving the relationship. Women are breaking up with their boyfriends. Women are the ones divorcing their husbands. And it's because you have like 3 to 5 fucking safety nets cushioning your fucking fall. And that's the funny thing. You're afraid of falling, but there's cushions there. So why the fuck are you afraid of falling when there's literally a whole bunch of cushions there? And it's bullshit that there's cushions there because men don't have those cushions. Men fall, they hit the floor. Not only do they hit the floor, they actually hit rock bottom. Men don't have fucking cushions like that. They hit rock bottom when shit goes south. So this is bullshit that women have all these safety nets, yet want to still act like they're in danger. Oh, I'm in danger. He breaks up with me. I'm suffering. Bullshit. Oh, because this is what some women fear. Like, oh man, he kicked me out for another woman, and now I got nothing in my life. Bullshit. You can go get a job, get an apartment, and live your life. But here's the thing, right? Let's say hypothetically this was the case. Let's ignore all the safety net stuff I said. Let's go with this idea. Let's go with the idea that yes, you have no financial security, nothing, right? Of your own. You didn't have your own bag, except for those, suitcases, right? Baggage. You don't have your own bag. You were relying solely on his income. Here's the thing, though, right? When it comes to his solely relying on his income, you do get physical access to the income. Usually, the husband gives his wife, I forget what's called they do joint bank accounts, so you do have access to the money. So if you ever have to go to an ATM and withdraw like $1,000, for example, you could do that. Another thing you could do is you can obviously have a savings and other stuff. Because me, I always plan the idea to make sure that my wife has money, right? Has her own ability to make money. Because the funny thing is, there's so many different ways to make money. So okay, let's see how I can lay it out real quick. The idea. So something I would want to do is get like a CD account or a high yield account or something like that. Something that will pay dividends. I'm more likely would do CD account. That's more my thing. So I would get a high yield CD account. Put in like if I'm a high value man, right? If I got millions of dollars, then I'll put $1 million. As an example, it depends on how much I need to put in the CD in order to produce like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. So that's what I would do. I would take a large lump sum of money, put it into a CD, have it pay dividends to her account. That way, every month when I get I said dividends, I meant to say the interest disbursements, because stocks is dividends. Interest disbursements every month when money's put into the checking or savings or whatever her account, right? It's put into her account. Well, there you go. There's her monthly income. This literally was generated from my savings, from my money, right? Money that I made. And now my money is literally making her money. So that's one way that I can guarantee that she has money. I know, and that's just if I want to make it where like I have my own CD account, but the money like I have multiple CD accounts, of course, but I have one for her. I probably call it the wife, um, you know, the, the wife money or something, whatever. I just put her name, and that would be like, yeah, the money that comes from this CD account is going to her savings or checking by her account, and that's her monthly allowance, if you want to call it allowance or income or whatever. That's her wife money, right? That's her salary, right, for being my wife. She'll get that. Of course, I'll give her other stuff like gifts and money whenever I feel like it, and just make it rain from time to time. However I want to treat my wife. The point is that I at least make sure there's a way that she can make money. I was thinking of two possibilities. One of the possibility would be that I do the checking, like it's my own checking, but I have one of the checking accounts. I mean, one of the CD accounts, put money into her account. And if she, doesn't waste that money, it'll just keep adding up, right? Or I can be like, all right, well, I have a lot of money, so here is $1 million. Put it into your account, and put it into a CD, and then have the disbursement, and that way, that's all hers. So she shouldn't spend the million, right? Obviously, leave the CD alone, and just spend the money that comes from the disbursement. But let's say something happens or whatever, like let's say her and me are not together no more, this, that, and the third, then at least she still has that. You can consider that like her severance package. Well, at least you still have that, right, financially. Now, this was before like how things are now, the modern way. But this is how I thought when I was younger. I was like, I want to set it up in a way to make sure that she has money not only for while we're together, but if we end up not being together, which I don't expect us not to be, but if we don't be together, a divorce or something like that happens, then at least she'll be financially secure for it. So I've already considered it, and that's before now with all the laws we have now, all the marriage laws. I already had that as a plan, already planned that as a thing in case, a backup plan, like just in case the marriage doesn't work out, at least she won't be in a financially I'm trying to say, she won't be in a bad position financially, right? She won't be financially in a bad situation. She will have at least some money to continue her life and, find happiness, love somewhere else. Because I'm definitely going to be financially secure, so I wanted to make sure at least she's a little financially secure, or at least have a safety net, as it were, right? A cushion. Make sure that she can, go back into the single life and, and it won't be that hard. It's not too different from like having a trust fund for kids, or making sure there's, like when your kid turns 18, then they have access to a bank account. Let's say you put 100,000 in there, so now they have 100,000 they can start their life with. They can go try to get a house, or they can do it. They can rent an apartment or get a car or something. Now, obviously, they should get a job so they can start making money. But at least this is something they can use to get themselves started. And that's how it is nowadays. That parents definitely need to set aside money for their offsprings, right? Their children, so that way their children have get your life started money, right? Because it takes money to make money, right? Among other things. Plus, you should teach them how to make money. That's another thing I always thought about, was is not just set it up where I have a way to guarantee that my wife can always get money through something I did for her, but also teach her how to make her own money. Because if I, if I'm a high value man, right, multiple businesses making multiple billions of dollars, of course I'm going to teach her how to make money. Why not? You know what I mean? And if, like I said, if we end up divorcing, she ends up on her way, I go my way, well, at least she benefited from the relationship, because she learned how to make her own money, so she can, go live her life. She has that knowledge, right? She benefits. I've, always, people who know me tend to benefit from me. So that's why I want to keep it that way. But that's why it's so weird that I'm not against women making their own money. I'm just against them using the fact that they make their own money as an excuse to not be with me, to disrespect me, to do things of that nature. Now, I haven't really experienced that per se. Technically, I could say my last girlfriend was definitely a modern woman, and I'm starting to see a lot of these things that I see in the modern women are doing. I do see it in that past relationship. All the relationships before that were more traditional. But that relationship definitely was like, okay, that's a modern relationship. Yep, definitely from personal experience, plus from what I'm seeing on the internet and everybody else. Yep, she ruined it. It wasn't me. It was definitely her. Because I did everything I could to the best of my abilities to make the relationship work. But she's a modern woman, strong, independent, all this extra stuff. So yeah, I wish her the best. But yeah, we already know where that path is headed, and it's not too different from this picture here, or not that one. Honestly, don't wish that one. That's for sure. But that's the one women fear the most. But hopefully you have a nice, successful life. But notice that in this image, she's by herself. But as long as she's happy, hey, that's all that matters. Yeah, this is a PhD. I just wanted something that shows the idea of a PhD or education. But then I saw this. I'm like, oh, this is funny. All this little extra stuff in there. It's like, yeah, because essentially that's what it feels like. A woman that put effort to get an education, to get good, decent, paying jobs, which I'm not against. It's just the type of women that have done this, that have gone this route, the whole, education, getting money, this, that, third. Then they get into this delusional mindset of it's them versus us, right? It's her versus men, and it's like, no, it's supposed to be an us thing, not a you thing. It's not you versus me. It's we versus the world. It's men and women get together versus the world, versus life, versus circumstances. Men and women are supposed to get together and thrive and survive and into the far future, and the human race, supposed to live for thousands and thousands of years from men and women getting together in teamwork, not partnerships, not equal partnerships, all that bullshit. No, there's no equality. It's teamwork. I do what I'm good at, you do what you're good at, and we both benefit from each of us being good at what we do. The idea of like, oh no, we need to be equals, we need to be able to do the same thing. Like, no. I'm really good at what I do, so I'm gonna do what I do. You're really good at what you do what you're really good at. And that benefits us as a team. Now, I'm not against cross-training, not against, teaching you how to cook because you don't know how to cook, or you teaching me how to cook because I don't know how to cook. As an example, I have no problem with that. I support that. Support the idea that it's like, let's get similar training and whatnot, but still, certain roles, certain tasks are better suited for certain people. For example, if I'm taller than you, woman, right? If I'm taller than you, I'm better suited for reaching tall things, dealing with things that are tall. Makes no sense for you to be like, oh, we're equal. All right, well, good luck reaching that high shelf, even though we're not equal because you're short and you deliberately chose to be with me because I'm tall. I prefer a woman my height, but, shorter women are cuter. They're adorable, but, and it does make me feel useful to be able to reach something they can't, so I like being useful. Just like having a lot of money makes me useful to a woman. I like feeling useful. I like being able to do things, fix things for a woman. It's not there. I don't mind doing things for women, but they have to appreciate it. If they don't appreciate it, then it's just a waste. Why am I doing all these awesome things for you and then you don't even appreciate it? And then you don't respect me. The things that I want you to do, you don't want to do. It's like, but that don't make no sense since I do. You'll have a list of 20 things you want me to do. I do all of them. I give you a list with only 3 things on it, and you won't even do one of the 3 things. It's like, I'm asking only for 3 things. It's not that complicated, but you wanna make a big deal about doing 3 things. So all I'm hearing in that situation is laziness. Modern women are lazy. So I mentioned earlier about the modern wife role, the idea that, first definitely get your education, but then get your man, a good man. Be better at picking the right man. The problem is that women don't want to admit that they suck at picking men. Because here's a little pro tip for you ladies. If you want a man that, let's say you want your type of man is a man that works, and obviously, right, works, but when he comes home, he plays video games and watch anime. That's the type of guy you want. Then you make sure that when you meet a guy, you talk to a guy, the first things you ask is, does he like anime? Does he play video games? Does he have a job? These things are the first things you're supposed to ask a guy when you're talking to him. If he says no to those, no to the video games and anime, but obviously yes to a job, then he's not the guy. He's not the right guy for you. Don't waste his time, and don't waste yours. And since most women are selfish, I'll just specifically say, don't waste your time with him, right? Because he's not the right guy. I see this time and time again that women will get with a guy like, oh my god, he's so awesome, he makes me laugh, he's so nice to me, oh, I'm so in love, and then like a couple weeks later be complaining that, man, all he does is go to work, come home, play video game, watch anime or something, or just he just be himself. That's the funny thing is, he's just being himself, the person he always has been. He was like this when you started dating him. He was like this before you started dating him. But then after a couple of weeks of being with him, now you want to bitch and complain like, oh man, that's all he does. Well, duh, you thought he was going to stop because he's dating you? Because he's with you, you think he's going to stop doing those things? So what you thought he was going to be? What type of guy you thought he was going to be? I thought he was going to be the type of guy to like try to make a lot of money and then travel the world. Then why ain't you talk to a guy that makes a lot of money or wants to make a lot of money and travel the world? Why did you talk to the guy that plays video games and watch anime and just goes to work? Basic work, a basic 9 to 5. He ain't trying to be the boss of anything. It's okay just being an employee, just making a basic paycheck. That's the thing, ladies. Y'all get to choose who y'all have sex with. Y'all get to choose who y'all allow to be, in your life for long periods of time, especially if marriage is going to be a factor. Ladies, y'all choose the men in your life. If the men in your life, the men you dated are shitty, that's because you're shitty at choosing men. And because your type is literally shitty men. Because think about it, logically, ladies, not with your feelings and emotion. Think logically, like men do. Think logically. If you want a man that makes a lot of money and travels around the world, then you only talk to men, only deal with men, and definitely only have sex with men who makes a lot of money and travel the world if that's what you want. Most women know what they want. They just never do what is necessary to get what they want. Like, for example, ask a guy, not only ask a guy that if he's in a relationship or not, like if he has a girlfriend or a wife or something, also double check. Don't have sex with him till you are 100% for sure that he isn't married or isn't in a relationship. Don't just be like, oh, he said he's not in a relationship, so yeah, I'm going to have sex with him. Because then after you have sex with him, then you find out, oh, wait, he has a girlfriend? I didn't know he had a girlfriend. No, you didn't want to know he had a girlfriend. You just cared about what you wanted, which was him. But then you find out he actually has a girlfriend. Oh, now you don't want him anymore. Oh, well, that's interesting. If you checked and made sure that he's the guy you want, the right guy, that wouldn't happen. Another thing is, men, this is definitely for a different topic, but men lie, obviously to get sex, and the reason why is because women made it that way. Women made it where men have to lie for sex. Because if women didn't, if women were, because the thing is, there was a time where men used to be honest, right? They didn't lie to get sex. They would actually tell you the truth. They would just tell you that, hey, I just want to have sex. And they'll be upfront with it. They'll just tell you they just want to have sex. Then from there, you decide if you want to deal with a guy like that who just pretty much only wants sex and probably not a long-term relationship, or you'll be like, no, I'm good. I want a long-term relationship, so I'm going to have sex. Because before, to have sex with a woman, you had to marry her. But then women lowered the standard, made it where, okay, you at least have to date me for like a month or so. Then they lowered it, or at least take me on 3 dates. Then they lowered it, you gotta take me to dinner. At least take me to dinner once. And if the date's good, if the date went good and I enjoyed the dinner, the date, then you'll get the booty. See, women kept lowering the value of sex. Before, you used to have to marry a woman to have sex. And then she was a virgin at that. So there was a high value on that WAP. Now it's a low value. Women drastically lower the value of the WAP, which is why women, come into a relationship with a guy, talking about, oh man, you're a perfect guy for me, blah blah, this and that, and then like, oh, how many guys you been with? Not like 20 plus. What? Wait, that don't make no sense. If I'm the perfect guy, does that make those 20 plus guys not the perfect guy? Like, but the fact that you were with them though, you had sex with them and stuff, like that don't make no sense. If what you want is the perfect guy and I'm that perfect guy, then you shouldn't have been having sex until you met me, right? And then the extra funny thing is some women are out there with the idea that like, oh, the perfect guy for me is out there. Yes, but you keep fucking every other guy waiting for that right guy. You think the right guy is going to be happy with that? He's supposed to be the right guy. He's supposed to be the only guy. Because he's the right guy, right? That's the whole point of him being the right guy. What you really mean to say is you're waiting for the right sucker to pop up. The right sucker to accept the bullshit. To accept that you have 20 plus guys under your belt. Literally. The 2, 3, 4 children you had out of wedlock with a whole bunch of dudes. The potential STD scare. You thought you positive for an STD, but it turns out it wasn't. That kind of bullshit. Like all this bullshit and drama and all this extra bullshit going on in your life. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the sucker who's going to accept all the bullshit, all the mistakes you made in your life, all the bad choices you made, and he's supposed to accept it. It's like, no, he's not perfect. He's stupid if he's going to accept all that bullshit. Perfect guy. One deserves the perfect girl. This whole bullshit that high value men, like a high value man, regardless if he's high value or not, any man will settle for whatever they can get. But right now, things have to change. Men gotta stop settling. We gotta stop settling. If we're gonna be high value men, if men gotta be 6 figures and above, because an average man who earns 5 figures and low is not good enough anymore. I don't know. All right, fine. We're gonna work hard. We're gonna become high value, 6 figures plus earning men, but we're not gonna accept no average. And we're not talking about money. Money is never a factor when it comes to if a woman is valuable to a man. You gotta be valuable to a man in the way a man says a woman's valuable, not the way a woman thinks a woman's valuable. Your worth is dictated by men. The men you want, they dictate your worth, not you. You are worth whatever they say you're worth, because they're the ones paying the price. If they have a 6-figure income, they will determine if you're worthy of the 6-figure income. If you're not worthy of the 6-figure income, their 6-figure income, then you're not worthy, and you move aside. And they're going to go grab a woman who's worthy of the 6-figure income. That's the world that we're currently going. That's the next stage of society right now, is that men are not taking this bullshit over. We're not accepting low value women. You are having multiple body counts. The fact that you couldn't maintain your vagina long enough to be with the right man, and then you're out here, having your financial security, aka job, career, but it's keeping you out of a relationship. It's preventing you from being a wife to even be in a scenario where having the ability to have a job is your backup plan, is your safety net. You're turning your safety net into your life, turning your backup plan into your master plan of living your life. It's like, well, good luck with that. It's supposed to be a backup plan. It's supposed to be just in case something, life, your life doesn't go right. You at least have that as a backup plan. It's not supposed to be what your goal in life is to make your backup plan your main plan. That's stupid. But anyway, hopefully this has taught you a lot, ladies. Helped you realize the truth of the world, that, what you're afraid of doesn't exist. You are mathematically more likely to end up in a better situation. There's a little joke on the modern wife, modern relationship. See the gender swapping. He does all the light work, all the easy work, all the women's stuff. She does all the hard work, all the manual labor, physical stuff, fixing things, and that kind of stuff. So the gender role switching. So that's the joke there. But I was looking for an image that's like the modern wife, and it's like, oh, okay, this is funny. So I'll use that to represent the modern wife concept. I prefer the traditional route where the wife is happy. Something like this, nice and pretty. She's happy. She's making money. I have no problem letting her use my money, just as long as she loves, respects me, all the good stuff that she should do as a good, decent human being. Because the other hypocritical thing women do, modern women specifically nowadays, is always trying to talk about men in general, as if that men are bad, but women are the ones doing things that anybody, whether you're man or woman, would count as, no, that's bad. Back in the day, women, always had a problem with it. Always said it was wrong for a guy to, be a player, right? A player, being with a whole bunch of women. That was wrong. But then you see women now who was with a whole bunch of men. Think about how the hypocrisy. Women became that which they hated, right? They hated the idea of a man, who goes around having sex with a whole bunch of women and not, caring about the women, not being in a relationship with them, right? Now women out here not caring about men, just having sex with men left and right, not caring. Notice that they're becoming that which they hate. They hated the idea that a man was going around having sex with a whole bunch of women. But then look at the women doing that. Hated that the men had, was making all this, was the one making all this money, able to afford, like an awesome lifestyle. But the women had to share in the lifestyle, right? And they only get as much as he allowed them to. So they hated that. I hate that he could tell me, no, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't have this, I can't have that. Like, he bought me, a Lamborghini last week, and I want a Dodge Viper this week. He told me no. That's a problem, right? It's like, now the tables have turned. Now you can afford, a Lamborghini last week and a Dodge Viper this week, right? But then you want to go around, telling guys no, and it's like, but didn't you hate when, that's the thing. It's the backwards thing. It's like, most women in the past, there were certain things they hated. But the thing is, y'all got a lot of benefits regardless. Y'all got a lot more than being single. So being good for a man benefited more than being single. But now, women got money. They want to act like an asshole, right? It's like, wait, but didn't you hate those things? Hate the idea of, this your significant other doing things? It's like, that's the hypocrisy. It's like, let me put it this way. It's like, the Chinese people being oppressed by the CCP, right? The Chinese government being mistreated and all that stuff, and then the Chinese people finally get the ability to get rid of the Chinese government and make it where it's like, okay, now things are better, right? Supposed to be better, right? Because now we don't have the Chinese government, oppressing us no more, treating us badly no more. But then they go around and start treating the government bad or start treating other people bad. It's like, wait, what? Just became that what you hate. First you were the victim, so to speak, but now you became the criminal, right? You became the perpetrator. You're no longer the victim. You are now the person victimizing. So it's like, it's just a hypocrisy. It's like, talking about, oh, I'm afraid a man will leave me after a couple of years in a relationship. But women are the ones doing that, not men. I understand when something's logical, as in, if you have a backup plan in case something bad happens to you, that's good. You have a backup plan. But it makes no sense for you to have a backup plan, but then do things in a way that would require you to use the backup plan. But the backup plan was if somebody else did something, right? It's like you have a job application for another job. Like somebody gave you a job application for another job, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to this just in case, right? But as soon as you get home, you immediately sign the application. You immediately turn it in, right? But the job you're currently working in, it's only been a week. You haven't even got your first paycheck yet. Let's say you get paid every 2 weeks. You haven't even got your first paycheck yet. It's only been a week you've been working this new job, at this job that you have, but you're already filling out an application for another job. Then, you make phone calls, asking to see if they saw your application, and stuff like that. Maybe you can come in to do an interview. It's like, wait, you're doing all this stuff, but you already have a job, right? You have a job. The job you haven't lost a job yet. You still have the job. The job is good so far, but because you have the backup plan, you're being lazy at work, coming in to work late. You're talking back to your boss. Like, you're doing all these things that don't make sense to do because you're supposed to act like you like this job because you're supposed to like this job because it is a job, right? It is what you wanted. This should be something you wanted, but now you're acting like you don't want it. And then later on, it turns out, oh, it's because you have another job lined up. And because you have that backup plan, that other job lined up, you're treating this job like it ain't shit. You're ruining this job because you have another one. It's the same thing as you're ruining your relationship. You're ruining love and potential of long-term relationships just because you have a job, just because you have a backup plan, just because you can always take care of yourself by being single. That you ruin your relationships. See, women in the past didn't have the backup plan, right? They had to make their relationship work. So that means they had to choose the right guy. They had to choose a guy that it definitely, even if the relationship has some issues, she can still make it work. She can still do things, even if she had to tolerate some bullshit, like, let's say, cheating. Some women like mentioning that. Okay, he cheated. Yeah, it was a one-night stand, and it's not going to happen again. And he's still coming back to you, and he's still taking care of you, and he's doing all these things that should matter to you, but you want to say F all that, right, and focus on the fact that he cheated on you. That's the modern woman's mindset. Woman in the past is like, if I make this whole one-time cheating thing a big deal, then that means I'm going to have to leave the relationship. And if I leave the relationship, then one, I don't have a relationship, so I'm alone and single again. And then, did I do anything with my life that's worth being single for? So they appreciated the fact that it's like, no, if I'm going to be with a man, or I'm just going to be in a relationship well, let's just say men. Obviously, if I'm going to be in a relationship with a man, I have to make it work because that is my job, right? I'm there for the relationship, not, you know, that's the part of the problem with the whole money thing. It's like, I'm not against making money because it's like, I want you to make money just so you can, you know, feel safe, right? Feel like, not have the fear of, me kicking you out. Not that one, me kicking you out, and you feeling like, oh man, that was things turned out bad for me. I want you to feel, safe if this was to happen. But until this happens, there's no need to over exaggerate and make it seem like your job is so important, or the fact that you make money so important. It's like, what you should do is save that money, get yourself a man, right? Get yourself a man, save that money for a rainy day, or for the day that this happens, because at least you'll be able to do this. Like, all right, well, I'm leaving with my bag that I saved. I can respect that. That makes sense. This is logical to, have your bag ready in case, you got to go. But it still has to be up to him for this to happen, right? It has to be him who left the relationship for this to happen. It can't be you decide to leave the relationship just because he left the toilet seat up. Some other dumb bullshit. You gotta make it work. It is your job to make it work. His job is to provide. Your job is to have a relationship. It's not rocket science. You have a purpose in the relationship, just like he has a purpose. If he's supposed to be earning multiple bags of money for you and him, and if y'all have kids, the kids as well, then your job is to maintain the family, to maintain, all of that. Make sure that all of y'all are together until the kids are old enough that's another thing. Some women will leave a relationship and they'll literally be like maybe 1 year away from the last child they have, from leaving, the nest. It's like, be logical. Wait until the children are old enough to go, live on their own and stuff like that, and then leave the relationship. You don't have to, stay with him, for retirement, right? You don't have to stay with him, be grandma. You can go do you, or you can go go back to your career, right? Go have your career. It's better to have a career when you're old than when you're young, because when you're young, you should be, living life to the fullest, and that's where being a wife and a mother is where it matters. You want to be a wife and a mother when you're young. You have the strength and the capabilities to do so. That's why you're literally built to do that. This is why you hit puberty at a young age, and that's why you develop puberty and whatnot, and you start being capable of having kids at a young age, right? Because you're supposed to be doing that at a young age. Roughly 20 years to 25, or close to 30. But between 20 and 25, definitely should be trying to have kids, at least one, to get started. You could always adopt kids, later on, help the kids who need love. I support that, but first get your kid, get your man, get your education. Obviously, that's without saying. Get your man, then get your kids, then get them to a point where the kids can take care of themselves, and then go get your career. It shouldn't be backwards or out of order. It has to be in that order. Education, man, kids, then career. Then retirement, or go back to the single life. The choice is yours. Depends on the situation. If the marriage, starts going downhill after a while, well, wait until the kids are old enough that they can go do their own thing, and then you can go do your own thing. But if the relationship is good and it lasts until, death do you part, then so be it. But it's so sad that women just immediately at the beginning of the relationship just ended. It's like, what? Just like having kids before even marriage. It's like, what? No, you're doing things wrong, and that's why things are going wrong. Because women are doing things wrong. If women, because that's the other funny thing, right? Women want to, you always hear talking about, being strong, independent, smart, educated. It's like, why are you saying smart and educated for? I want to believe y'all smart. I want to believe y'all educated, but y'all decisions don't equal smart or educated. I don't see smart and educated when you're making bad decisions. If you make bad decisions more often than not because you're making decisions based off of emotions, there's no education, there's no being smart when it comes to making a decision off of emotions. Emotions is the absence of intelligence. It's your body's biology, your body's chemistry reacting. It's your senses, your trigger, right? These are alarm systems, whatever you want to call it. These are no different from like a car, you know, um, you know, um, oil lights blinking or something, or the car making a ding 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 sound because somebody didn't put their seatbelt on. That's what your feelings are. Your feeling is not the onboard computer of the car or the engine of the car that makes the car move. That's what your brain's supposed to be, the computer system or the engine of the car that makes the car function. Your feelings is everything else. So it's the windshield wiper. It's the automatic, the power steering, the power window. That's where your feelings are. So make decisions based off of your own personal experience, knowledge. Make better decisions. You should always try to strive for what you want. If you want a long-lasting relationship, then you got to make it happen. You're the one who wants it. You got to make sure it happens. You got to make sure it lasts long. And it's been proven time and time again that women are the one that's not making long, relationships last long. They're the ones making it end quickly. Men are logical. Men are the ones who will choose to have a relationship last for a long, long time. Even a shitty relationship will stay in for a long, long time. And I'm talking about old, back in the day, traditional guys would do that. Now in this modern day, it's like, oh no, now we gotta stop, trying to make these relationships last long because women are not doing their part to make sure the relationships last long. Now we gotta change the rules of the game because the rules that the women created aren't working. They're not benefiting women. They're not benefiting men. As in, they're not benefiting nobody. At least the rules that men originally created, men provide, women, thrive. Yeah, that's the way I like that term. Men provide, women thrive. That's the facts. Not saying that you can't achieve anything, by your own capabilities. The thing is that most men will help you achieve greatness, either by them achieving greatness and you get it by default, or they help you achieve greatness. Just like I mentioned earlier, that I would teach my wife how to make money, not just be the only one that knows how to make millions of dollars. I would teach her how to make millions of dollars too, right? I consider that fair, not equal. I consider that fair. I'm all about being fair, all about making sure that somebody at least has the opportunity to do something with their lives or do better. It's still up to them to do better, to do more. But, nowadays, modern women talking about equality, feminists talking about equality, but equality means equal, the same. And men and women are not the same, not equal. If I'm tall and you're short, we're definitely not equal, because I can reach the top shelf, you cannot. I have a penis, you have a vagina. They're not equal because they're not the same. The list goes on and on of things that make us not equals. We are different, and that's not a bad thing, because our differences is what benefits each other. Me being taller than you benefits you when you need me to reach for something. Me being bigger and stronger benefits you when you need me to carry a whole bunch of shit. Me making a whole lot more money than you, so that way I can still make it rain on you. I can be like, all right, take half my paycheck and make it rain on you and make it where you can, go on a crazy shopping spree on my dime, right, on my money, but I still at least have money. At least I'm not broke because I didn't give you everything and end up not having money of my own. I gave you a lot of money, but I still got a lot of money, so it works out. See, it's fair, not equal, but it's fair, right? And all I ask in return, which is the fair part, is you wear that sexy nurse outfit that I asked you to wear, and you know the rest. And that's it. That's fair. Doesn't have to be equal. I'll give you a lot of money if you wear the outfit. That's all I'm saying.